Hi, good morning to you. I am sharing this video in hopes that I can try to figure out what is going on and where um, this harassment um, began. Some people find it hard to believe, but I have so much physical evidence of things happening, especially breaking into my apartment, cutting up things, stealing money, um, just making my life miserable, not really taking anything, just making my life miserable. Somehow or another, they can see in my apartment and they're doing things in such a way. Some people probably will disagree, but I've been having such a rough time that it makes it hard. I was in recovery, um, not a big time user, more of a recreational, 20, $25 twice a month. And whatever's going on, I'm left on the ground or can't function for 2 or 3 days. And this started when I was homeless. And nobody's ever told me why. In the beginning, there was no delusional stuff. It was just them posting things on Instagram or whatever the case may be and having people harass me. When I did get sober, they worked even twice as hard to put me back into a state of homelessness. Now that I'm in an apartment complex, they're working even harder to put me back on the street. Nobody's ever told me what I did, but I do know the things that they're doing to me are influencing me to behave a certain way. And what I mean by that is that the history behind methamphetamine does not leave you on the ground for 2 days or 3 days on $20. It's just that's unheard of. Can't function, totally delusional. And the reason why I know it's an influence is because I um I actually put it to a test where they didn't know, and I didn't have any delusions. I wasn't on the ground, but when they did know, all hell broke loose. I couldn't even get off the ground, and that is when they started, basically slandering my name and defaming me in such a way where I can't even defend myself because they tell everybody, and I can't fight back. And so this is the scenario. Now that I'm in a place, I'm finding out things because they actually lied to me when they put me in here and told me that housing put me in here, but that's not their function. The only thing that they do is approve your housing. And then they put me right in the middle floor on in the middle of the building on the busiest street where I can be harassed. And I've had people call me names, follow me, cut me off, block my way in cars, walking. It doesn't matter. It could be 2 in the morning. I can go outside and somebody's posted up like they're sleeping, just to let me know that they're watching me. And nobody's ever told me what I did. And no matter how well I do, they still don't stop. So I don't know what to do. The frustration is the relapses come because it's so frustrating and the name calling and they don't let up. They just don't let up. But I can't for the life of me understand if I'm indoors, why is it anyone's business? I don't get it. And then the people that are harassing me, a majority of them are homeless, drug addicts themselves, or they broke some. It just happens. People have broke the law. So my question is, why is it that someone that does not have a badge has the right to do that to anyone? So I had to post these things. I would be fine if they wouldn't do this, and I have had a job more than once, and they worked doubly hard to get me, fired. Basically, contacting people on my job to work harder to get me, to quit or get fired, which has happened a couple of times as well. After a couple of days, 3 days, they stop. But it doesn't make sense to me because they're standing right next to the person that is influencing me. And what I mean by that is that they have and I know this to be true. Somehow or another, electronically or whatever they're doing, it has me out. And if you know anything about Google, they have glasses that can make you hallucinate, make you think you feel everything. So it's just a wonder to me what they could do to somebody that's under the influence. Not heavy, but just under the influence, and I can't even get up. I'm squirming on the ground. And they know this. But I needed to do this because it's a point where people know that this is the case and they still want to stick to their guns like I'm doing something wrong. But how is it that they're allowed to even have anything set up like this in my apartment? Or harass me, assault me. I have cuts on my face because of them. Somebody came into my apartment a couple of times and basically assaulted me. And you can't get by the physical evidence. Of course, my clothes being cut up and other things like that as well. So these are things that I need answers to, and nobody wants to answer them. And I don't, for the life of me, see what I did so bad that this would be something that everybody's participating in to harass me. And it's been going on for at least 8 years that I know of, probably longer. And it doesn't matter where I've been, from Santa Barbara to San Diego. And, if somebody commits a crime, they go to jail, whatever the case may be, they serve their time and they're done. There are no rules to this for me. Nobody's telling me anything. It doesn't matter if I'm doing good. It doesn't matter if I'm doing bad. It doesn't matter if I'm in a motel room. It doesn't matter if I'm in my own place on the street. It doesn't matter. They basically come and find me. And then that's when I can't do anything. I'm out. Most people will attest to that. When a person has used or done anything of that nature, they don't just do certain things like that. And I'm the only one that's doing that. So it's pretty obvious that something is going on. They all know it. And everybody that is near me knows who I am and gives me these dirty looks or says something rude. The latest thing that I had happen is somebody put something in my mailbox. I can't even open it up. So I need answers. Nobody likes to be made into something that they're really not, especially when they know they're being influenced. I have damage to my body now, even my toenails. I have. I was on the train and they attacked me, and they used some kind of device, and just to show you, which I'll take pictures of. They literally crushed my toenails like a can. Your toenails are not going to squeeze together like that. And I was left crawling off the train. And that's just one of many. And nobody will tell me. I've had snakes put down my back, and I can attest to that because I have snake bites on my hand from trying to pull them out. I got punched in the mouth. I don't even remember it because I don't, at this time I was still trying to figure out things. You see my teeth? That's the result of somebody punching me. And I didn't even realize it because it was hours later. I was probably out of it when they did that. And I don't even remember who, where, or why. Nobody ever told me anything. These are just one of several incidences. And everybody's on the same page. I don't get it. I don't get it. If they would, and I had a $60,000 a year job, and they worked doubly hard to get me fired. And I had got an SUV, hadn't had a car in 19 years, and I had it taken from me before I could make my first payment on it. So I don't know. I'm at wit's end. They know that when things are going on, they know that they're watching a person manipulate my mind. And if you don't believe that, it's too coordinated of an effort for somebody not to be doing something, especially if they can see me on the third floor of my apartment. It doesn't make sense to me. Um, and they don't let up. They don't let up. And all I want to do is, if you tell me if I did something wrong, tell me. And I'll be more than happy to comply. Whoever has this kind of technology or, you know, clout, I wouldn't want to, step on their toes. And if they would have asked me or told me what I did, I would have complied. But I don't understand this at all. I just don't. So it's making my quality of life pretty bad. It always seems that they do things right around the right time, especially when I need to either pay my bills, um, things of that nature. They've come in here while I was out of it because they knew I was out of it. They know. So that's just more proof that they know that something's being done to me where I can't even move or think, and I have the same hallucinations. And they come in here and they took my money. Took my money. This is like the third or fourth time they've done that. Um, so I don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers. I don't want to, meddle with anybody with law enforcement or anything. I just want to be left alone. I just want to try to get my life together. I'm 55 years old and I don't understand why anybody would do this to somebody my age. I just don't. Um, Especially if I've never had hallucinations in my life. And all of a sudden in the last 5 years I've been hallucinating. Um, People say, okay, you probably should stop. And you're probably right. But when you're so frustrated that you have nobody to talk to because you've alienated me from anyone, um, people don't want to talk to me. Um, and I have nobody to bounce this off of. It's embarrassing, number one. Um, and so when I'm not um, indulging, they work doubly hard, even overcharging me more money when I go into the store, which I have plenty of proof of that. From Carl's Jr. in particular, they charged me 4 separate times, different prices for the same hamburger, and then got mad when I brought it up. And then he made a phone call. Next thing you know, I got harassed for a couple of days. Um, I don't get it because, you know, God bless them, but you have child molesters and rapists that don't get this kind of treatment. But yet they're trying to make me into some kind of slob. And they know that something's going on. If I seen somebody on the ground that can't move, I know something's wrong. I know it. I'm not going to be all that pissed because I can see the guy, something's wrong. Um, I do have famous family members, but I've been reluctant to call them. And even when I bring it up to them, they're like, whatever. Um, Cynthia Baldwin, in particular, Supreme Court Justice, semi-retired, Pennsylvania. James Baldwin, a famous writer, um, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Um, so I, I'm kind of wondering why anybody would go to these lengths for one guy. All this manpower for one guy. Um, and there's more. There's more. When I first moved into this place, I was asleep and I woke up and all of my sinks were stopped with paper and flooded my apartment in an effort to try to get me to leave. They bent the clamp in my toilet to get it to overflow, um, and just cut my clothes up. They broke in several speakers. Didn't even take them, just broke them. Who walks around with tools just to do that? And then the biggest thing is, how does anybody know where I'm at, what floor, and they're on the street? So that tells me that somebody in this building, more than likely management or anybody else in particular, is letting them know this. And then they watch me. They seem to know whenever I have decided to do what I do. And they just wait. Next thing you know, um, I'm being called names, honked, can't get sleep because the whole mission is to try to keep you uncomfortable with harassing you. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to post this. And I'm going to continue to post things. I'm going to call my family. I'm going to have my mom or whoever, probably not my mom. I'm going to have a family member, and there's several of them that know about my situation. A couple of them have gone through similar harassment. And so I know it's got to be something to it. But in the end, what's going to eventually happen is they're going to start contacting people that in my family that can make a difference. If something does happen, it just makes it all that much more believable because some people, if they find this hard to believe, but you have to think about it. If they can do that with Google glasses, think of what they could do if somebody's under the influence. And typically that's not the type of behavior for somebody that does like $20 worth of crystal meth. That's just not it. And the only reason why I'm even doing that now is because I'm very unhappy. I'm very frustrated. And for somebody that only does that twice a month, maybe $40, $50, not a big time habit. Not a big time habit at all. But they seem to know. And then even in the hallways, they walk up and down the hallways, knock on my door, play loud music, talk loud, give me these mean looks, knowing that something's being done to me. They know it. And if it's all that well coordinated with the stuff that they've already done in this apartment, then they know that that's part of it. They just know it. Like I said, I cut a microphone from the smoke detector. What's a microphone doing in a smoke detector? And I have it. And so I'm going to continue to, do what I have to do to make this stop because it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't at my age and having kids call me names and all kinds of stuff. And nobody will even listen to me. And I don't get it. I just don't get this type of harassment on a large scale like this. So that's pretty much it for now. But I'll keep people posted, and that's pretty much all I can say. Thank you, and that's pretty much it.